Hi, Martin. Oh, no, because that's so far behind. I've now just moved my camera. That's okay, though. Yay. Move it that way a little bit. Just trying to get in the right place. Hi, Tracy. How are you this evening? How are you both? And anybody else who's here? I have to admit I've cheated a little bit with this. Earlier on I've done a bit on this side of the page just so that I could get an idea of what I wanted to do, but also so that some of it was done because otherwise I thought it was probably going to take a long time. So are you all doing okay? Hi, Caroline. Gosh, I'm warm again now. It's been an on and off day. It's been like cloudy and then sunny and then cloudy and sunny. Apparently we've got another nice day tomorrow and then it's going to be very rainy on Sunday. So I thought, well, no, I didn't think, because I already said last week, I'm carrying on my journal page I started last week. So I used the new stamps, the Lunar Moth, the Lunar Elements. I haven't used the Sentiments yet, and the Starry Night stencil, which is down there somewhere, and I'm not going to get it back out because I'll then have to rummage. Been watching Mama. Oh look, I've just realised that this mat is skew whiffy. That's going to be a bit annoying. I think that's all right now. Stargate Atlantis. Wasn't that? Oh, didn't realise that. There you go. There's something new every day. So cold. And it does that feel I can't see. Wet. I think we're going to get that soon. I think we're clinging on to the last bit of nice weather that's sort of hanging on to the southern coast, I think, at the minute. It's, at least you can wrap up warm and, it's a bit snuggly. Ronan. I think I've seen Stargate Atlantis, but is that the series or is that the film? Because I think I've watched the film, first ever film, and I've watched a bit of the series. Hi, Dominique. Right, so I'll better get on with it because it's probably going to take me a while. So ignore this side now because I have started on that. So last week I used the stencil to do some with some distress inks. I was trying to create a vintagey look. There's some stamping with the bits from both the stamp sets. I do believe the stars. I'm trying to remember what I did. And then I stuck some bits of pattern paper over, and I then went a bit mad, I think, didn't I, with the washi tapes, all the lunar themed washi tapes. And then right at the end, I did some stenciling with the crackle paste through the Starry Night. I'm just going to lift it up so you can see some of the crackle because I'm not sure if you can see it from the distance it was at. So that is very crackly up here. So like I've said, the thicker you put on your crackle, then you get these really sort of thick cracks. You put it on a medium thickness, you get this more of a crackle. And then if you put it on really thinly, you get this very, very fine sort of almost eggshell-like crackle. Oh, I don't think I've seen that one then, Caroline. That's what that is. So that's all nicely crackled. So I was going to leave it all till tonight, but then earlier on I was thinking, oh, what do I want to do? And I started playing around, and I think I like this, but it probably maybe looks a little bit messy far away. So let's bring that up as well. So I've decided to get out some of my Neo colours, which are like a water-soluble crayon, but you could equally do this with any sort of watercolour-based product, water-reactive product. And then I used a bit of my Stabilo All Black water what's it called? Water-soluble, these ones, water-soluble pens, pencils, but they go over anything. And then I decided I needed to lift it a little bit with a bit of gilding wax. So I decided I'd do this side because then it was half of it done, and it would also gave me a chance to think about what I was going to do. And where's the front of the journal gone? Now this is my, for those who didn't see, this is my broken book journal, and it's so bad that actually within the last week some more of my pages fell out, so I've been using them to make some focal points ready for this evening. So I'm going to use my these Neo colour crayons, but like I said, you could use watercolour pencils, you could use watercolour paint, you could use acrylic paint, you could use whatever you like to do this. It's just that this was sort of to hand. So I've got a couple of different greens because I wanted to carry on with that vintagey look. And this one is olive, and this one is olive. No, oh, that one's light olive, and that one's olive. It's got in the top. Light olive and olive. And then I've also got my Stabilo all pencil. So this is like a really sort of quick way of just adding some, because I wanted to add colour around them, and I wanted to add a bit of colour on them. So I'm scribbling my Neo colour over the top. But whatever you use would be, you know, have the same effect. And I'm just going to get that on there, and that on there. So I'm going with the lighter colour first. All right, and I learnt from the other side to water down my colour before I start adding black, because the black really then does sort of really start to overtake everything else. So has anybody been up to anything crafty? As in crating, not, oh, are you being crafty this week? I've just done a bit of the darker on there. So like I'm not trying to be precise with this at all, because it's meant to sort of have a sort of more grungier sort of a look to it. Let's put a bit of that. So I'm just putting a bit of the darker green around just to add some of that on. There we go. And then I'm just going to activate it with the water. Put the water there. And then once you activate it, now I'm just want to sort of add it around, add it below, add it over. And as it goes over, then it sort of falls into the cracks of the crackle place. It was at your mum's place, so no crafting. I'm sure you'll make up for it at the weekend. What have I been doing? What have I been doing? Oh, I've been doing things for samples for somebody else, so can't show that. I don't think I've done a lot this week, actually. I've been sort of resting. Trying to rest my arm a little bit, because I think all of the preparing for the shows slightly aggravated it again. So I've been trying to rest it a little bit. Having said that, I did loads of cutting out today, so that wasn't very helpful. Right, let's get some colour down. Doing the ATCs or Rianne while watching. Oh, that's nice. I was actually, oh, no, that's a lie. I have done that this week. I got my ATCs done and sent, because normally I'm one of the worst for getting their ATCs done. I'm going to just tip that down a little bit. And now I'm going to get my black Stabilo all. And I'm not worried about this, because these are pretty hardcore, these pencils. And I am going into the wet. I'm not worried. I've got about 3 of them anyway. Had a mooch through some of my stash made a cup of coffee. Oh, that's nice. Sometimes it's nice to do that, though, isn't it? I have to say, I really do neglect a lot of stuff, even like my own things, because you're sort of moving on all the time in the craft world. It feels sometimes like you sort of, why don't you want to actually play a bit more? So I made that very wet. and you don't always get time. Although doing things like lives is always really nice because you can sort of get away with using things you might have not had a thought to use. So I'm just trying to sort of put a little bit of darkness around and on here. Like I say, I'm not being too precise, and then I like to, it's nice to go sort of, I'm going to put a bit of colour over here just to take some of the darkness of the washi tape away as well. I think that one, there's those up there as well. Just to, sometimes I felt that the whiteness of the washi tape was sort of standing out a bit too much. Even though it might look a bit more of a mess at the moment, once this dries off, it should be a lot better. So just hoping. Around there. The Stabilo oil pencils are really good, but I sometimes forget how really intense they can be, and you sometimes have to sort of be a bit more, have a lighter touch. I don't tend to have a very light touch at times. I can be quite heavy-handed with things. All right, let's give that a pour. And although this looks quite intense in a way now, once it's dried off, it shouldn't be as intense. I'm going to give it a quick blast. So if you've got earphones in, fair warning, I'm just going to give it a blast now, so you might want to take them out. Ready? I like to, at this point, so you can sort of scrape your extra grips if you want. And then take a bit of that off and just now this is only book paper, but I have stuck layers together, so I am aware of not sort of totally saturating it, because it could start to damage the paper, but it's held up pretty well actually. Now this Stabilo oil pencil, once it's dry, it is permanent, whereas, for example, like the distress inks, if I faff about too much on top of them, they will start to lift. I'm quite happy with that. There we go. Right, so I am going to, before I add this, I'm going to use my same crayons just to add a bit of colour into the ones in the background. So I'm just going to colour the outside and the outside all the inside. Oh, my bed just made a funny noise then. The outsides and the insides, not too much, just to sort of add a little bit more colour. Oops, that's probably a bit too much. Probably the more you use it, then it starts to get a bit darker on there. Go in there. So this is really very vintage and grungy. But once I put the focal points on, hopefully this really does become the background. So, you're not, this isn't the main thing you should be looking at really. But I like how you got loads and loads of layers. That's the thing that I like. Have I got any more that I can see? Got one there. Let's go around that one. Some of them are so in the background I can only just about see them. Right, that's that. And then let's go with the lighter one. So I want a particular. Oh, it's always the way, isn't it, Caroline? Do you know what the card that I always struggle with, that I don't have in my stash, is browns. And I always think I do, and then I look, apart from like craft card, I struggle to sort of, oops, I didn't mean that to be there. I struggle to find brown in my stash. It's a sort of a harder one to find as well. You can guarantee that whatever colour you want is the one colour you're not going to have, isn't it? It's just how it works. I can see one very lightly in the background and there. Let's put a little bit on that. I did in the end. I was always struggling to find blue and purple cards, so I just bought a couple of packs that were just different blues and different purples. And probably since I've had them, I haven't used it as much. That will do, I think. Oh, there is some over there as well. I'm just spotting them now. Sort of hiding underneath. Let's give that a little bit more. Where's that other one I saw? There. Here. Oops. There. 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 All the ones that were hidden that I couldn't see. Right, I think that will do for that. Let us now put a little bit of, hopefully that's dry enough, a little bit of gilding wax. So this is the Pebeo gilding wax. The colour is Renaissance Gold. I have had these years. I will have to say that the Pebeo gilding waxes are really good for longevity. But they are a solvent base. Oh, yeah. That's a good idea, Karen, actually, isn't it? Yeah, just get black. I started doing that with paper flowers at one point, because I found that I had lots of different coloured paper flowers in it, and I would then still never end up with the one colour I wanted. So I started just buying white ones if I needed them, and then coloured them myself, because then I could always make sure that they were the colour I wanted. I always have a thing of I'm going to sort out all my cardstock, and it never happens. Well, it does happen a little bit, and then it just gets messed up so quick. Mind you, I think that with card blanks as well, so I really ought to check what card blanks I've got before I buy more in a shop, and then get home and go, oh yeah, I already had 3 packs of 8x8s. Although I have to say, we've only got one range on the island, and it's they've really lack in stock of card blanks. I don't know why I don't just make my own card, because I only tend to make cards, for samples and things like that. I don't generally need envelopes, and I end up with a ton of envelopes. I gave loads to the local the primary school that Alfie used to go to for the reception class, for their when they do pretend writing letters and stuff. I end up just with millions of envelopes. I don't know, hopefully you can see I really like that. It's got a really moody look. Let's get it a bit close for you. So that's my moody vintage background. It's gone more galactic now, I think, that I've added the sort of the colour and the gilding wax to look more like planets and galaxy. Yeah. That's the thing, Dominique. It does make life a lot easier, doesn't it, doing it that way, I think. Right, so we have got our background now completed. I'm going to move those because I don't know if they're now clear. I'm going to put one of them I don't think I even used. Let's give that a quick wipe. Oops. Pop that over there. Put them away so they can dry. Right, I can put those away. I apologise, I'm going to reach in front of you just so I can put those crayons away, and I'll put that bit away so that they're gone. Right, so I now need my focal points. Now I have already made a load, and when this paper had come out of the book, I thought it's sort of a bit of a happy accident, because I thought I'll use this paper to make my embellishments or my focal points, and then they will also match the cardstock, the colour and the pattern in the background as well. So I'm going to just do one on here because I've made lots, and do one and colour it. So I'm going to move that so that can be thoroughly drying. I'll put that on the floor, probably right too far away from me. Ooh, now I've got this water. That's going to be a bit ooh. Right, and I've got my board. Not my board. Stamping platform. So I'm going to cut a piece of this so that it can fit into my... Now, I do tend to keep these little side bits of the book paper, because I think if you're doing something like this and you want to stamp a sentiment, what I've got here, then they're quite, handy bits of paper for stamping your sentiments on. So this is what I did earlier. I just took a piece of this, and let's pop it there. And I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do another one of the lunar moths. So the big moth out the middle. Oops. So I want it to actually have the text in there. And because... No, I think I used my Versafine Claire earlier because I thought I was going to use watercolours. Then I changed my mind, because after I'd done it, I thought, because it's a very thin paper and it's not stuck together like in the actual journal, it might go through the paper too much if I watercoloured it. So I changed to pencils. But I'm going to stick to because I've done all the others in the same ink. So I don't want to do that. I need to lift up the stamp first, don't I? So let's get this on. I'm going to stamp the whole thing out, but I'm actually going to cut out the actual moth. Right, let's give that a press down. Oh, that's all right, actually. Yes, nothing. It's a bit hard to see on when it's this ink, because it's quite shiny on this paper. Sometimes when you're looking at it, it looks like you've missed areas when you actually haven't. I'll give that, and I do give this one a wipe because it's Versafine. It's oil based, so it stays wet on your stamp, and then when you go to use it again or pick it up or move it or something, you get ink all over your fingers. So I've been collecting for many years. Yeah. Trouble is, it's the time it takes, and once you've organised things, everything does get a lot easier and quicker to use. It's just the hassle of having to do it in the first place, isn't it? That's the trouble. Right, I'm sticking them magnets up on top of something else on here now, because otherwise they were always getting in my way every time I got my stamping platform out. Let's pop that back in there. Right, I'm going to give this a blot, because, like I say, I think with this book paper, I suspect that it's either got something in it, hasn't it, book paper, or it might be slightly coated, because when you can see it stays wet a bit even longer than it does on your normal cardstock. Now it won't have done, will it? Oh no, it really hasn't, has it? That's typical. Right, let's give it a quick blast as well. So fair warning again. Turn this on. Just to give it a quick heat set, just to make sure. Only because I'm going to cut it out and I don't want it to be all over my hand. So I'm not going to cut the whole thing. I just want the actual moth, but I'm going to sort of just cut away a fair amount to start with, just so that it's easier to cut out. Excuse me. So here we go. So I'm sort of cutting along the outside of the line as much as I can. I don't want to cut into it, but I don't want to leave a border with these ones. Normally, whenever I don't leave a border, I then go round with a pen. But because this is on book paper and it's going to be against more book paper and a lot of busy background, I'm not going to worry too much, because I think the book paper edge actually looks quite nice, because it's not pure white. It's wasn't concentrating, was I? I'm meant to be cutting out the moth, not the circle. A tactic is to keep your scraps under control. Yes. I have to force myself to throw a lot of scraps away, I have to admit. But I've also, with my watercolour card and my black card and that, I've got a bag that I put in with them, because I've got a little storage thing now beside me to make it easier. And then what I do is, when I do need a bit of, oops, this mat is wobbling, a watercolour card or black card, I go to the scrap bag. For some reason my throat's gone. I go to the scrap bag first before I get a new piece of card out and see if I can fit what I need, or if I can cut what I need from one of the scraps. And only then will I allow myself to use a new piece. Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? Because sometimes you look at a piece and you just think, I could fit a sentiment on that. But the trouble is, you end up with a lot of scraps. Yeah, I find if I just use it all in one go now, so I try and sort of, if I've got a bit left over, I use it for the same project if I can. That way you don't end up with as many bits. Otherwise it just gets uncontrollable. Yeah, because that's the thing. I do a lot of fussy cutting, so I do like a bit of fussy cutting. Right, there we go. So there is our cutout Ludomorph in the book paper. So you still get that lovely sort of interest in the background. That's what I really like. But then you've got your image over the top. So I really like that effect. It's one I forget to do it quite often, because you can easily do it as well if you create your own backgrounds and then stamp over the top. If you've got anything that's got like an openish space, then it's really nice to do. Right, I'm going to pop it on here. I've got my pencils. I'm going to use the same ones I used earlier. So I've got my pencils, which you can see which colours I use the most, can't you? I obviously really like, I can't read it, yellowish, oh gosh, earth green yellowish. That's a weird name. I really like earth green yellowish. So I thought it was like an olive, but obviously not. So these two are Caran d'Ache ones. Pablo. Don't know what that means, whether that's important for it to be Pablo. And then the other ones are Faber-Castell Polychromos, which I do really like. I like these ones because they're more hard wearing, and I'm quite hard on, heavy-handed, as Charmaine would probably say, with my pencils. I find the Prisma ones are nice, but they're too soft for me because I tend to break them constantly. So let's just do some colouring. So we're going to colour the body with this sort of rusty brown. You have to be a little bit careful when you're colouring onto the book paper, not because of going through it or anything, but because it tends to move more because it's so thin. And then let's go with a darker brown for the spots. And this is why I did all the rest earlier, because I thought you do not want to see me colour about 10 of these in. Well, I've done a mixture. I've done some of the big one and some of the medium-sized one. I've got an itchy nose. don't want to go with that colour for his antennae. I'm not sure. Oh, I did. Oh no, I've got that brown. I was going to use that brown. I thought, oh well, I've used that one now. You dedicated a folder for black and white ones. Oh, don't. Sometimes it's better before you tidy up, isn't it? It's better to be in a mess sometimes. You can find things easier. Just going to go over that again. Now, if I was on like a proper heavy cardstock, I might then get the oil out and blend them and go over and over. But because it is on the book paper, I'm not going to like work it too much. I've got 3 browns up, but I only needed the 2. Right. Oh no, I haven't got my yellow, have I? I knew there was something missing. Let's get a yellow out. Good for the moon and the stars. I thought I had all the colours I'd used. I think it was that one. I thought, oh, save having to keep like opening that up. I'll have all the colours ready. And then I didn't. I think that looks like the same one I used. So these are wax, or are they wax based or oil based? I never know. They're one or the other. Are Sakura jelly roll pens any good? I like them. To be honest, I have never had any problems with them. I haven't really used any other jelly roll pens, or any sort of other gel pens though, so I'm probably not a good source of other potential cheaper versions. I don't use them like loads. That's the thing. I use them sort of in minimal amounts. So I don't know if anybody else on here has got more experience of using. I don't know, but I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the green. I'm going to go with the green on the bottom. So this is my, whatever it was called, earth green yellowish. Because I know there are lots of other cheaper versions than Sakura, but Sakura are good. You have to just be a little bit sensitive to their needs, because they can sort of get a little bit blocked with the mica in them if you have the sparkly ones, but you just clear it quite easily by just getting a bit damp kitchen towel or something. And sometimes if you rush with them too much, you don't give them enough time to, you know, let the ink flow. But I like them. I've got the Stardust ones, so the sparkly ones, the Moonlight ones, which are with some of the neon colours, and then the more recent. But I do love the white ones for adding highlights. But I just like the thickest one they do in that, which is the 10. So you can get them in sets of 3 different sizes, and I quickly learned that I just need to buy the set with all the size 10 in, because that's the one I mostly use for my highlights. So now we've got a choice. Ooh, let's go with malachite green. I think it's malachite green or blue, cobalt blue. I think we'll go malachite green. That's a nice name for a colour anyway, isn't it? Nothing else. Use Castle Arts gel pens like them. Yeah, good cheaper. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it depends on how much you're going to use something, what you intend to get out of it, what your budget is, because at the end of the day, you know, as much as, you know, like I say, oh, Faber-Castell Polychromos are fabulous pencils, if you haven't got the budget for it, then, you know, that's no use. So I tell you who is a really good person to watch. Lindsay, I can't say her surname, but she's the Frugal Crafter. If you haven't already followed her, I know somebody else watches her as well. She does lots of reviews of products, and she's very good at looking at cheaper versions. I shouldn't say cheaper, more affordable versions of things, and truly comparing them as, like, if you you know, your budget is limited, these are a good alternative sort of thing. And she's been going for years, so she has reviews on so many different things. She does more watercolouring now than she when she first started. I think she used to do more some card making stuff, but she focuses more on watercolouring. But she does review lots of products, and I've always viewed her reviews as being really very thorough, very fair. I mean, she's based in America, but you know, a lot of the stuff is just stuff we have as well. So she's a one to maybe follow to get really good reviews from. Right, so I haven't done any white on these, so I think I'm going to leave them without white. So I did the Luna Moths. I did some of the circles as well. So I've now got 4 Luna Moths, and I did 3 of the sort of medium-sized moths, and again I cut them out of everything else, and I got some more of these because I thought I'm probably going to need lots of them. And then I found all of these which I'd cut for the shows last Sunday and didn't use, because I cut out and prep so much more than I ever use. I've got so much from all the shows I've ever done where I've cut things out and coloured them in ready just in case. So I've got 3 of those ones, I've got 4 of those ones, and I got a couple of those. I ripped that in half because it was bent, but then I thought, oh, that sheet's quite handy to use it. So these dies are from the Wise Moon die set, which is now on the website. It wasn't on the website before, I realised, so that's now gone on. And then I've got all of these bits, and I've just realised I put them all on here, and now I'm going to have to move it. So if I put them all on the board, and then I can move all of this, and then I can move it while I put the journal back up. Because that's what I'm now thinking, is that please don't all ping off. That's happened before now. Right, let's move. I'm holding that in one hand whilst I get that. So hopefully don't drop it. Oh, crap, then I just nearly knocked my thing of water over. This board keeps moving. It's very annoying. Right, let's move that along. Move them to there. So let's have a look at what we got. What we're going to go with. We're going to go with white PVA glue, based glue. Let's move you. Oh, I need my centre. Let's move everything else, because I'm not going to need any more of that. I'm not going to need those. You can go back in there. We'll just keep the sentiments because we will need you. Right, let's now see. Let's play with layout. So I do like to cut my lots of bits and then play with my layout for my journaling. Now, this is why I wanted these and these. You can't see because that's off there. So this, I wanted the black and I wanted the extra elements, because I knew that when that goes on there, it's going to sort of disappear into the background. So they need something to lift them, you know, up. So as soon as you put something underneath, it sort of breaks, gives your eye a break between the background and what you want to become the focal point. I'm sort of watching myself in the past. It's like time travel. And then something like, I could put that under there as well. So it's also just lifting it. Now this is why often I will put black thread under things. I like the look, and other people do it as well, but it's something that just breaks up the layers, because sometimes they can just be too much. The other way to do it is if you raise things up, then you get a natural sort of shadow, because obviously it's then casting a shadow behind it, so it automatically again breaks it up a little bit. So which I could do here, actually I could slightly lift that with a bit of glue gel, so it's also helping it to break it up a little bit. It is a very busy background, I've realised. Oh well. Right, and here's one of oh, that's got twisted. Let's go. I'm gonna have maybe another one. So I don't like to put it up because I want to see some of it, because otherwise it's sort of like a bit pointless as to why you put it there a bit, isn't it? So let's go that one there. That's upside down. It's going to bug me if the text is upside down, even though it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, it does. It is, isn't it? Because that's the thing with the shadows. There's a lot going on. Right, we've got some little ones of these. So let's go with... I mean, I don't have to use everything that I've done. This is the thing, I think. So, so up here is a little bit less busy. So if I put one up here, hopefully, maybe it won't need as much. But actually, I think I might like that with perhaps 2 of those. And then just maybe just a little one of them underneath. And then... See, that one is really blending. I may need to put something more. Maybe I need to put another bit of that underneath, just to really give that a bit of backdrop. Right, then what we got? So I'm looking at the colours as well, sort of thinking, I don't think I'm going to put these all on, actually. I am going to just, I think just 2. I like the ones with the green a bit more, I think. So I might just do, so those 2. And you can have maybe, you can be totally in the middle of one of them, perhaps. And you can have just a little bit down there. And then I might just put you back. I'm going to put that one back down here a little bit, because again there's a bit less busyness going on down there. This one is the one that's really sitting on a lot of busy pattern, and in some ways I don't want to cover all that pattern up, because I spent ages, well, not ages, but you know, I spent a bit of time doing it. But these could then perhaps become extra elements on the page. That one hasn't got one, has it? That one's not got anything. I did think, I hope that the writing on these in this book doesn't have anything bad in it. I don't think it should do. It was on Seven Shipwreck Centre. It shouldn't be anything unacceptable. Let's go there. And then maybe keep those ones through another, and then I can just put a sentiment on that. Right, let's get these bits glued. So that's go. Oh, glue! Don't do this to me. Right, it's just not on. Let's get the thing out of here. Because I can't put this one upside down. When I put it upside down, all the glue comes out. But I like to have, when you leave it up the right way, it then needs to be cleared, which is very annoying. This had got quite low. I did refill it from the bigger bottle, which worked quite well. So I'm going to have to guess where that was now. Oh, look, bubble. Things like that amuse me. Has anybody got any good plans for the weekend? Right, I think I'm going to have to move you to get to the glue gel and hope that this isn't blocked as well. Oh, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Can't even find, where is that? Oh, I'll use that one. I can't find the one I usually use to unblock things. Let's do that. Hope for the best. I wonder if that's oh, I've just seen it. I thought I dropped it on the floor. Now I've just seen where it's gone. Right, so let's put a little bit of glue gel on this. I'm not going to put it all over. I'm mostly going to put it on the body so that it just stands there proud a little bit. Right, let's put these two down first. Don't know where that one was going to go. Let's hope it was roughly there. Right, let's put that. Actually, I think, no, I'm going to have it that way up. I don't worry about putting glue all over things, especially in my journal. As far as I'm concerned, you know, your journal is a place to have a play, try things out, experiment, express yourself a bit more. And it's not, you know, it's not meant to be in a museum, or it's not going to be particularly looked at. So if I don't stick everything down 100%, it's not going to be, you know, too much of a problem. Oh, I don't know how I want that now, because I've now put that there and I want that sort of, I might cut that into more sections. Let's cut it along the middle there. Not trying to snip that one off. And I might do one here and one here, so that they sort of overlap a little bit. This is always my very faffy stage. Oh, or that way. No, that way. Or that, no, that way. That way. Oops. You do not want to stick. You will. Oops, that was a bit too much glue. And let's go there. It is going to probably struggle a little bit. Let's get a piece of, I want to pull this, push that down, because it's got to now go on top of like the crackle paste and things. It would probably, oh, I pulled that right back up. Oh dear. Stick. There. There it is. Oh, I lost it then. Let's go in there, a bit of that. Turn you so you're facing that way a little bit. See, I think I may end up putting some white splatters over this, because I feel it needs lightening up a little bit now. It's gotten very dark. Perhaps I should have done that before I've started sticking down my main elements, but sometimes it's quite nice to get the splatters on. It depends. I mean, you can always like cover bits up as well, especially if you do things like sentiments and you don't want to get splats on your sentiments. You know, you can just cover them up with a little bit of paper, scrap paper or something. Talking of scraps, and so they just don't get it all over them. I'm seriously hoping that this doesn't run out of glue gel before I get to the end. So this side is a bit clearer because all of the most of the darkness is down in that corner, so it's not so much of an issue. And how was that going? That was going like, I think there. Let's pop you under there. And then you, let's recheck. Yeah. There. Nearly done. there. And gradually this will stick. I mean, the glue gel is not going to be sticking for a while anyway. So nothing there for one more, yes. Right, you can go like flying like that. And as I always tend to go in like this, sort of flying across in a bit of a diagonal way, which I wasn't going to do that last one, but I think I'm going to have to because I want it to be the same as all the rest. Like that. Pop you there. And put you on first. I'll put that underneath. No. Put you like that. And then you can go there. Like that. A little embellishment there. There. That would do. And oh, then I was going to put some of these on, wasn't I? Let's just put a couple of these on. Oh, let's go with a bit of this. Like there. I think I've only got a couple. And let's have one here. There. That's all of those, unless I've probably dropped one. I've normally dropped a couple on the floor somewhere. Yeah, then we'll leave those. So that's that. I think I am going to just see if I have got my white ink. So this is Winsor & Newton white. I think it's one used like for calligraphy and stuff. Let's put my lid on my... I won't go mad. I give it... It does split, I find this. Now, some of the ones you get that are like of India ink, I'm not sure... I don't think the white is. I don't think it can be. But it does tend to split, so you do need to sort of shake it up. Right, I'm going to use this brush. And I bought this literally to do splats because it's already liquid ink. And then I don't have to keep watering stuff down. Oops, now it goes everywhere. I now find it everywhere. I'll find it on the iPad. I'll find it on the little drawers I've got everywhere. I'll find it all over the mat. Find it on my machine, my die cutting machine. I think that's enough. That's enough. You probably cannot see that actually as much as I can. I just wanted just a little bit of something just to lift and add a little bit more lightness back into the page. I'm sure those, I could have done it other ways. Well, now I do want to use, keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Yeah, and probably, yeah. Good. The good thing is that I never have any clothes that I would say I'm worried about getting anything on. I'm usually halfway through a project, I think, oh, I should put an apron on. By then it's usually too late. Let's just put my scissor cover on. Don't like leaving my scissor cover off. Got to clean that, so I'll leave that there. Right, so we're going to move that to here if I can. I'm going to get this out again, and I'm going to use this. Let me just check it can fit if I start. Just do it like that. Put it on there. I don't know which way around that is, but let's just give you. Let's check that that's still okay. Yeah, we'll use the same ink that we used to do all the other bits. Normally I would put that down, but because that ink's wet on that page, I don't want to put the lid of the stamping platform in it. Let's press it mostly in the middle, a bit lesser at the edges. All my glue's now coming off my hands. See how that's there. Give that another press there. Yeah. It will be not as crisp on this paper because it will be, it is like a more absorbent paper. Let's take that off there. Oops, no, I don't want you to stick to the other magnet. You just stick to my metal thing. Let's pop you back over there. Right, I will give it a quick blast with the heat tool. So I'm going to warn again about ears. Right, let's give it a little blot with this as well. I'm just thinking I might, I'm going to use my ruler, I think, to I just want to tear it rather than cut it with the, because it's got that vintagey feel. I would have attempted to go along the edges, but no. Just a thought there, wasn't it? No, I won't, no. Because if I do that, I'm probably going to tear into it, aren't I? And then I'll be really annoyed with myself about it. Let's just remember that stamp is there. In fact, I'm going to stick it there in front of me. Let's move you across. Let's put a little, what do we think? Do we want to go with, no, we need to put something around the edges. In fact, I'm going to just distress the edge with my little distressy tool, just to not on top of that though, that would just be silly. Let's do it on top of this so that I can throw it away. Won't do too much around it. I don't want to make it too ruined, but not ruined, but too distressed. But I just want to rough it up slightly because I think that will look quite nice. This is something else I don't think to do all the time. It's distress edges. I always tend to go for a nice sharp sort of crisp edge, and sometimes I think a little bit of distressing is quite nice. And now I've done that, I am going to just grab, let's go with that one. I think there might be enough ink on here. Oh, there is a bit of ink on here. This is the thing with your stencil brushes or like your ink brushes, sometimes you think there's nothing left on there and there's just enough. And sometimes it's just the right amount to do what you want. I know. Right, there we go. Let's pop that back over there. And the last bit, decide where we want this. I think I'm going to have it here. Let me see, once it catches it, I can't use that. I'm going to have to use, I think I'm going to just use my normal, yeah, I think there. Definitely there. So let's put some of this on. And pop that on there. And there we go. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Let's lift it up just so you can see it a little bit closer. Take pictures, I'll pop them probably over onto Facebook, because I don't even know how I could do that on. I couldn't really do it on YouTube, can I? So over that and over there. It's hard to show because it's quite big. And there we go. So thank you ever so much for joining me this evening and last week. What I will do is if you've seeing this one and wanted to see, hadn't seen the first hour that I did last week, what I'll do is in the description box, I will link the first video. I've linked to all the products as well, the stamps and the stencil. And yeah, so I'll link the first video back up. I'll link Lindsay's channel in as well. I think I did last time, but I'll link Lindsay's channel. Oh no, I linked Lindsay's channel when I was looking at the paints that she'd said about. So I'll link her again so that if you're interested in watching any of her reviews of products, you can find a link to her there as well. So thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely weekend and I'll see you soon. Bye.